You're listening to the Onethang Radio Show, starring your boy, Onethang.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I got my boy, Mr. B, in the building. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Oh, same old, man. I love doing sessions with you, man. Your energy, when I record with you, man, I just look forward to our sessions, man. I just want to tell you that before we get started, man. You one of my favorite people to record, basically, artists to record, man.
Oh, wow, thanks, man. That means the world.
Man. No, really, the positive vibe, the message you give and everything with the music and everything, it's just a whole different uplifting vibe, man, when we record. And I want to start off with how we met. We've been working together for a while, man. I think you've been to all of my buildings in Sacramento, man. I've had like 3 locations I had over the past, and you've been to each one. You're one of those rare people. So,
yeah, man.
Can you tell the people how you found out about the studio?
Yeah, man. My man DJ Ambush.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. And me and him go even farther back. My homeboys were more close to him than me, but I met him on a few occasions. And he had a real big name around that time, you know what I mean?
Nah, definitely. He was, the funny thing is I used to record with him, and he was one of those guys, man, like you said. He worked with Raphael Sadiq and, engineered, and he just did a lot, man, and it was real cool. What was real cool about him was he really just, I was rapping but he really just kind of polished up my act, if you will, and really, he really knew how to just get that focus. And just because, like how you said, he's been exposed to so many people, just, what's important and getting in your zone, So it was really like a seal of approval. And then, when I was moving out to Sacramento, it was like I was doing this back and forth, and it was crazy. And I was just like, yo, you got anybody, in Sac? And he was just like, my man, Jay. And
wow.
Then that's how I met you. And then it was just on and popping, and you just talking about how your whole progress, but you was doing stuff before that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
and that shows that Ambush is so cool because, man, I ain't talked to Ambush in probably like 20 years, but he still hooked it up like that. You know what I mean? He still shot out my number. He still shot my number to you, and that shows how good of a person he is. So shout out to DJ Ambush. Everybody look him up, man. He has great work. And yeah.
And it's 2 M's. That's the trick, Ambush is AMM Bush.
Yeah. And before I get too far into the interview, I just want to let everybody know Mr. B is not only a rapper, but he's also an attorney. You want to tell us a little bit about that, what your practice is in, and how you help the community and everything?
I practice criminal law and I do criminal law. And it started, as far as helping the community, that's kind of where it started, as far as defending people. And it started with the funny thing is it started when I first started. It was really just being in the neighborhood, seeing kids not get a fair shake, and just wanting to defend, just my peace, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's a trip because the landscape for criminal law and what it's become, it's really the fight for civil rights, if you will. You talk about all these people in mass incarceration, and I wasn't that keen to it when I first started it, but just how everything is playing out in these disparities and these racial disparities, and a lot of it's between black men and black Americans and the rest of society. And it's almost like the new front of segregation. And it was just kind of,
yeah,
I didn't go in there intending that, but,
No, yeah. And also it ties into your music. I know you did a few projects, that pertain to that. I remember. And can you tell the people how many projects you got, basically? I know you got a lot of albums, man.
Yeah, as Mr. B, I've done like 30 albums, man. I have at least 30, and it's something I do. It's just it's passion, and it's just evolved through time, you know. And when I started it, it was really like I started as. Let me back up a little bit. Before I was I was kind of a secular artist, and then I started doing Mr. B, just kind of, you know, changing my life. I was in a relationship now, and getting married, so I couldn't just be coming out with rough, rugged, raw. That wasn't how I was living, and so that's where Mr. B starts. And at first, it was really kind of a joke. Like, let me explain. I was a teacher and I was a lawyer. I mean, while I was trying to get a job as a lawyer, I was a teacher, and I would listen to these kids. I would look at like the curriculum, and we used to have like these math, rap, history, rap, stuff like that. And I was like, man, I'll kill it. I could do this. And so I did it kind of in jest, you know, like as a joke. And then it started to really resonate with people. And so this is where it goes. So what happens is when I first started working as a criminal defense attorney, I'm doing juvenile law. And my boss, my supervisor, really took to the album. You know, like, this is really like our kids need to be hearing this. And then it became a vehicle for that, you know, where it just started out. It was just hip-hop for kids. And plus, I had working in juvenile law and doing juvenile defense. So you got adult law where, you know, you're 18 and up, you're an adult. But kids were getting prosecuted, and kids are catching strikes. Like, these juveniles are catching strikes. So they're getting prosecuted. They were being charged as adults, and there's serious consequences. It's not, juvenile law isn't just, you stole some candy, we're going to work this out in, you know, the neighborhood court. It's like, no, they're really trying to put these people in CYA and things like this. So that's where Mr. B, it really started to take off. Like, you know, I want to just get this information out to the kids to where it's banging like hip-hop, you know, because I've been so influenced by gangster rap. And so it was just kind of coming hard. And then trying to do something for the kids, like, y'all need to really, without coming off over preaching. And then it's evolved over time, but that's kind of where it really started. Sorry, what?
And on that note, man, I want to take a break and play one of your tracks, man, to let the people get a feel of your music, man. So on that note, we'll be right back after these messages.
Ask me how I'm doing, boy, stressed but blessed. The avenue I chose isn't one that I'll regret. My charisma comatose when my mind is set. I'm finding rest before I digress. Now I confess, I plan to reach extra goals. I'm preaching far and wide, reach extraterrestrials. Pujong ayo. Essido, thoughts of failure in my mind. Kugo podi up so Ajikdo. Jesus be answering prayers. Death and alive, I don't care. My life's a flare, changing the man in the mirror. Living my life as an heir. So I declare to be departed from wicked ways, and be set to demonstrate, walking it out by faith. Come on. This a love story, call it Boy Meets World. Except there's no Topanga bump the diamonds and pearls. My life is full of memes with emojis and turtles, because the happiness from God is from God with a purpose. We call ourselves Christians, but what are we practicing? Dead men tell no tales, they don't excel cause they lack belief. Mountains move because of faith the size of a mustard seed. So with faith the size of ours, we be moving galaxies. Prayer works. Wise men take heed to discipline. Losses are lessons, wins are blessings from the Most High. Stand by my side, whether I'm feeling fly or facing genocide. I come from people, come here and change. To me, living American dream. So much of a came, so far to go, but won't complain. Cause my sitcom life is real. What if leaving to be the dad? Feel how I feel when wife at home with kids and your husband getting this grill. Blessed to be so fortunate. Still humble, don't want my candle blown, thinking I'm lit. Cause I act fake don't mean I'm counterfeit. Original, individual, lyrical, miracle. Give it to you straight, not esoterical. Glory to the Most High, I'm spiritual. But don't say, can I get an amen? More EPMD, I say, so what you saying? My church called and said, for you we are praying. That came at the best time as I wrote this rhyme.
Don't forget to go to onethang.com for more podcasts.
Man, that track was banging, man. I can't wait to let the people hear another one, man.
Right on, man.
Wanna, since we were talking about the community and how you helped out the community and continue to help out the community, I want to get your views on the BLM movement. As far as, what do you think about BLM? Like, do you think it's helping the black community, or what's your views on BLM?
I think it's too early to tell. I think it's too early to tell. I don't really. It's too early. Anything that's helping black people, I'm with it. You know, I don't. As far as the BLM, I think I may have a little bit of a controversial view, honestly, and I'm just going to put it out there. I don't really know what it's about, and I say that in this way. I mean, this is before it was really, and I'm not knocking it. Like I said. Exactly. If you're for our people and you're for, hey, I'm all for it, props. And I'm not saying it's coming from a good or bad place, but I was surprised when I read their website. Now, this is when before it was as popular as it is now. But I'm talking about when, like, you had Trayvon Martin, kind of at the inception of it. And, you know, I started seeing this Black Lives Matter, and when you read it, it was so like, whoa, you know, and it was about trans rights, gay rights, and I have no problem with that. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not dissing nobody. But what got me was, it was this thing about, we just delegitimizing the nuclear family. It was really it blew my mind, and it blew my mind in this way. It wasn't. When I read their website, I was like, I bet when people are screaming Black Lives, they're not thinking this is what it means. Yeah. And you're not alone. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not. Oh yeah. And I don't. What is this going to mean in the end? I don't know. But this doesn't feel like my movement in the sense of Black Panthers, in the sense of something where it was like, this is. I don't know what they're. I don't know. They may have they have a view that, I mean, they got billions of dollars. Just recently, and you're just like, what is this gonna mean? Is this and then it's just like, and you see, it's almost like a crowdsource funding for the Democratic Party. And I'm like, I have no problem with that. Hopefully it does, but is this really gonna benefit black people in the end, or is this, I don't know. I hope it does. We'll see in 10 years, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. That's the best answer I can say. I don't really, and I'm not knocking them. I'm not saying hopefully it means something, you know. But like, I think about what's going on now. Yeah, you know, I think about it. It's just. I'm sorry. What was your question? It's just.
I was just gonna get into Trump. Like, I was gonna get your views on the election, actually. Not specifically Trump, but as far as it's election season, the election's in a few weeks, and I was wanting to know. I don't want to know who you're voting for. I just want to.
Thank you.
No, I never ask that to people, anybody. I just wanted to know, who do you think's gonna win? That's a different question. Who do you think's gonna win? And I can go first if you want me to. Yeah. Who do you think? Go ahead. Well, I think Trump's gonna win, because I'm just basing it off of the YouTube videos. When I see YouTube videos, he has people everywhere, man. I mean, in the front, I mean, all around him. He's surrounded by people. In the back, behind him, it looks like he's throwing a concert, dude. And when I see it looks like he's throwing a big concert, like a rock star concert. And then when I see Biden videos, it's always just him. The ones I see is just Biden standing at a podium with some kind of, you know, backdrop, and I don't ever see any people hardly there. So it looks like Trump has more supporters, man. I mean, that's why I think he's going to win.
You know, but the thing is, and Trump in theory, but Trump really isn't supposed to have that many people there. It's like social distancing, and it's just kind of. So it's I really don't know. I really don't know because Trump was supposed to get his butt handed to him last time, and he didn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know who's gonna win, but I don't.
Well,
it's a trip. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, speaking of social distancing, I wanted to ask you about COVID-19 as well, but did you want to finish that last point?
Yeah, but it is interesting to me, this dynamic, that the exposure that Trump is bringing to America, and just America's, it's a trip because it's a very brash way of things where you just kind of rip open the veil and like, this is America, straight up, and I can't lie, as a black man, it's like, dang, and the way that people and all these racial issues and everything, and it's just, it's not even, and they try to put him out there like you're the bad guy, but it's like, this is a reflection of, to me, a bigger reflection of America, and his whole thing is, hey, y'all on the other side, it ain't like y'all are any better. I mean, hey, you're the architect of mass incarceration, and you want to try to come at me, and it's just, he put things out there where I can say, speaking for myself, I knew there was I knew there was inequality, but between this, COVID, and George Floyd and Breonna, how everything played out, it put things in such a stark, it just cleared the smoke. And you see things in such a way, and the disparities, like, I thought it was one way. I didn't realize we are this bad. I didn't realize the wealth gap between my people and everybody else is so far, and the reasons why. And I don't think it's not all Trump. This is America. It didn't start, and that was Trump's whole point at the debate. You've been a politician for like 50 years, dude. You've been a politician for half a century.
Yeah, and that was a good point. He made a couple of good points. Yeah.
And it's always sorry, what?
Yeah, and I was going to say too. It was funny that you mentioned the COVID thing. It was a contradiction where we're supposed to be social distancing, and then you see his videos, and it's everybody's shoulder to shoulder. You know what I mean? Some people's not wearing masks. He's not wearing a mask either in the videos. And I just wanted to segue into the COVID situation. I mean, like, have you had any experiences, just your personal experiences? I mean, I know it was weird in the beginning to me how we used to have to get in line. Well, there was no toilet paper anywhere, dude. That really freaked me out. Like, wow, dude. I mean, people were stocking up on toilet paper, dude. Really? I just couldn't believe that, dude.
I had a friend die from COVID.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's
that's a whole
so it's a close friend, and it's hard, I mean, I don't,
do you mind saying if that person was, saying if that person was older, if they had pre-existing issues?
They're young. No, they were younger. They may have had pre-existing conditions. They may have had other things going, and this put it all in play. I don't know. But I know that they went, they caught COVID, and it was, I mean, God rest his soul.
Because there's some conspiracy, I don't know if you know, but it's some conspiracy theories out there saying that they're, like, a lot of the COVID deaths are linked to contributed from something else. Something else contributed to the COVID deaths, but they're labeling it COVID for some reason to get the numbers up. I don't know. That's the theory that's out there.
But the whole thing is, all right, if let's say that, right? Then they may be this. Let's say this was a political ploy, but then it's kind of like, what about the rest of the world?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it was this, the Americans, and they're putting this number up, and the Democrats have this agenda, but people are dying from COVID around the world. And And there's
and you can
COVID
get into deeper conspiracy theories. Yeah, that can go on forever.
And
argument, yeah.
The COVID conspiracies, in my opinion, they come from. Well, I think there's two things at play. First, but I think as far as COVID conspiracies, the one thing that was, and speaking on America as a whole, to me, this whole no mask or COVID fake thing, all this started happening when we started getting the numbers. When they were saying it was disproportionately affecting Black and Latino people, it doesn't exist anymore. We can take our mask. It's not bothering us. But now the blowback is coming because now it's starting to affect those other communities that were saying it was fake. And so it's kind of like, would we have taken it more serious at the jump if it was affecting more than just a certain minority group? I mean, Black, Latino groups. Would we have would we have taken it more serious? Who knows? But, I understand the need. It's like this, you can't keep America shut down forever. So I got somebody saying that, like, we can't, we're going to kill our country. And it's like,
Yeah, and I wanted to take this chance to play another one of your songs, and then the people got to hear this great music. So I'm gonna blast off another one of them songs, and we'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening to the Onethang Radio Show, starring your boy Onethang.
Things done changed, PC. Post-corona, prisoners set free. While I'm ordered to stay home with family, like pot take man in me to conquer the insanity. What's the saying? Best of times, worst of times. At times lose my mind. Others I'm fine. Stuff bother me before, now don't mind. Now more kind. Keep the peace. Keep safe. Don't walk the streets. At home write flows to young Nab beats. Used to be all day hustle. Now ride bikes with family or make puzzle. While we in the middle of this crisis, millions unemployed, verge of homeless, people dying sick, got me pissed. But seeing my kids homeschooled, priceless. Never lived life like this. Office desk and guest room, call it homework. People lives devastated, got me so hurt. Why I keep God first, better or worse? Things done changed, PC. Post-corona, prisoners set free. While I'm ordered to stay home with family, like pot take man in me to conquer the insanity. Feel guilty, is it a crime? I'm loving this family time. As working parent was never home, kids on the mind. Now home cooked meals, every day we chill. Things done changed, PC. Movie in theater yesterday, today on TV. People couldn't stand, now kin to me. In this together, whether or not want to be. When it's over, hope we keep same energy. Or do we go back to being enemy? Pray the madness ends. Daughter celebrating birthday without family and friends. But daddy, daughter got closer cause of time they spend. Best of times, worst of times, say it again. Best of times, worst of times, say it again. Best of times, worst of times.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, man. He got slappers, man. So check him out, man. How can people find you again? Are you on YouTube?
I'll just say mainly, my main site is on Bandcamp, Mr. B Music, mrbmusic.bandcamp.com, or you can go to SoundCloud, and I'm at Mr. B Got Flows, MRB Got Flows. Those are the main ones, and everything is Facebook. It's all connected to that, so.
Perfect. Now I wanted to ask you, get a little more personal now, man. Do you want to share any, this is what I ask everybody, do you want to share any what's your craziest relationship story? Like, it could be junior high, middle school. I don't think too many people had relationships in middle school, but you know what I mean. It can be way back in the day, if you want to share that.
Oh man, I'm a married man, man. I was playing it hard. What you like you said, I'm a lawyer. What you can say will be used to get. What you say can and will be used to get.
Hey, you're not the only one. Somebody asked me that. They turned the question back around on me, and I said the same thing. As far as man, I don't want to answer that right now. All right, well, let's get into something else, man. That's totally understandable. What about what's your craziest fight story, man? It can be back in the day as well. It can be an elementary fight.
People, you
can't answer that.
I was thinking about this. I really don't have any. I really wasn't. I kind of lived the civilian life. You know what I mean? People were stuck.
Yeah.
An interesting story. I remember. For what it's worth, my partners, and when we went there, we were going to college. We were squares. I remember my partner got punked by Suge Knight.
What?
And it was like, hey, yo, let that one go, dog. Let that one go. We're not out here like that. Let that one go. These people, they can say what they can talk about that and all they want, and whether he's into that. I was like, I know him and his crew will break us off. Let that go, dog. Let's go to the other side of the bar. Let it go, dog. We're not built like that.
Well, what about your crazy? Everybody usually has a crazy neighbor story, or it can be a crazy roommate story. I mean, do you want to share a story about a crazy neighbor or roommate?
Man, I got a crazy roommate story, man. I got a crazy roommate story. I remember I had this roommate, and the dude was a low-key, he was just not street savvy. And someone tried to sell him an Apple computer, and I really didn't like the guy. I mean, but, actually, I don't even know if I want to say the story.
Oh, that's
but
cool, man.
Actually, I don't know. But I have a bigger story. I have a neighborhood story. I have an interesting story about my guy, and it was just, he was one of his crazy life stories, because when you say neighbor, I thought neighborhood, what's a crazy, like a hood type story, a hood type of, but he, when he passed, I mean, he was an OG, like, and it's funny because I'm from the Bay, and when I moved to SAC, it's such a gang culture, like, people are looking at my shoelaces, but that whole way you're banging, I'm like, I thought, I've only seen LA and Colors, Boys in the Hood, that's where I know all that from. Yeah. But he was like an OG, you know what I'm saying, out here, and when he passed away, God rest his soul. Great guy. But they went to his old neighborhood. Like they time they go to his funeral, they're all in the colors, totally, you know what I mean? Red flames out, whatever, all in and he has this gold casket. It was a horse in a casket. They put his casket in the horse and carriage. Yeah. And they went through his old neighborhood, and it's like there were like hundreds of people like in their cars just following behind, and just while it goes through a neighborhood, and people were getting up, saluting the whole nine, and it was just like like a mob, like a burial of a son or something. Huh?
That's what I was gonna say, some mob shit. You're right. I was gonna say that. That sounds like some mob mafia shit.
Exactly. And they did it that way, and it was like one of those bucket list items. Like, I never knew I wanted to see something like this in my life until I saw it. It was something like they talked about Nipsey Hussle, and when he did, and it was like just to experience something like that, it was just like, wow,
that's a once in a lifetime experience.
Mm-hmm.
So my last question is to wrap it up. Do you believe in ghosts or spirits? And have you had any experiences with any ghosts?
It's funny. I'm trying to get my daughter out. I'm related, so I'm trying to get my daughter off YouTube because she be all into that. Like, I'm like, yo, you need God. Jesus died for our sins. praise the Lord. Straight up and down. I don't want no dream catchers in my house. I don't want nothing. Praise the Lord. Keep the faith. But as far as the story, I remember having this one time when I was a kid. And it's like I was at my grandfather's house in L.A. And I it's like I felt my body levitate. Like literally off the bed. What that meant, what it was, but it really felt so real. And this is something I don't remember my youth, but I was like 5 or 6, and I still, you know, so that's one story where it was just like, yo, you know, I remember levitating once. What that meant, I don't know. Praise the Lord.
Were you scared?
Hallelujah.
Were you scared, or you just felt at that age even you felt protected by God?
I didn't know what to feel. It was a moment, and I wasn't scared. I just levitated. That's all. In my mind, that's all that happened. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't think much of it or try to interpret whether it was a good or. I wasn't scared. I can say that much. And not like I'm not a punk, but I just wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah.
And then, well, shoot, man, you still do shows, man? Have you did a show in a while, a rap show?
No, I don't really do shows anymore. I used to do shows, and I just remember.
I know COVID-19 is going on, so of course you haven't did any this year, probably, most likely. But I mean, before COVID, not really.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even like you said. You know, I'm doing. You know, no, I haven't really been performing. I've really, you know, something thank God for social media. You know, because I don't even know if I could be still doing music in a viable way if it wasn't for social media. Because that's actually, you know what? Speaking on Mr. B. Now that you kind of bring it up, it's that's kind of how Mr. B. So it starts out kind of. As like I said, as a joke, kind of like, oh, you know, I'll even spill the tea a little bit. I just made this real offensive track, and you know, and my wife now was like, forget this, you're never gonna do this again. And I was like, okay, let me do something real positive to get some brownie points back. And so I started doing it, and that's how Mr. B gets started. And I get this reaction, and so then here's what happens. That's what it is. So I start working as an attorney, and social media comes into play. And so back in the days when I was rapping as I was doing secular type music, it was kind of like, I had to do performances, and I used to be like having to rap to people and sell my CDs, you know what I'm saying? And you have to just be out there. Here's my CDs, here's a flyer, here's this and that. And you can't be doing that as, you know, with the career and everything. I wasn't. But then I started, social media came into play. And so then I was able to put everything online. You didn't have to press up CDs anymore. You didn't have to do any of that. Exactly. And that's the reason it's been able to keep it going. Because it's like, yo, I could throw it online, you know. And something interesting about you, now that we're talking about it, you recorded my first when I came up with this idea. It was kind of like I was making Mr. B albums and still trying to hand flyers out and CDs out and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it was actually,
now, man.
It's a different world, but I want to say to you is, you were actually one of my first real albums where it was like, yo, I'm really going to take this internet thing serious. And it was Mr. B's Open. It was one of my earlier projects. And I recorded that with you. It was when my uncle died. That's a whole nother story. But it's funny because I'm thinking about that, and that's when it really started to kind of like, yo, I'm focusing online, and really that's what gave it life. And it was just like, yo, I could just go into these media blogs. I don't have to, you know, you got these followers. I don't have to go pass out 1,000 flyers. I could just push enter, and then boom, it's off to God knows how many people. So, you know, it's been mainly Mr. B has been mainly it's more of an online personality, an online presence, you know, rather than a, you know, yo, I'm out here really doing it and I'm trying to be the next. but it gave it life. So it's just like, you know, and it's kind of evolved.
Yeah, man, that's great, man. And on that, I appreciate it, dude. I'm very happy to be there to be able to get them projects out, man. And on that note, man, I'll see you in the studio soon. And
definitely.
Thank you for the interview, man. It was very informative.
You know something before, boy, wait a minute. We need to give you your roses. Before we get off this interview, and thank you for it, we need to give you your roses. Because I know you were doing things as far as engineering, and that's why we were clicking so much, because you got a lot. Can you tell people about some of your experience? Because I know you done did some official stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. I've just been doing it for a while, man. I've been recording artists. I helped a lot of artists. I helped about a handful of artists that got major deals. Most of my people know about me being the engineer for Clyde Carson's first album. And then I also was the engineer for this guy named Fat Pimp in Dallas. He was on the radio a lot out there. I don't know if he's still doing things now, but he was pretty big around 10 years ago. And, I just help out a lot of people, man. I kept the prices. My main goal is to keep the prices low, man, as much as possible, so the underdog can compete and have a chance, you know what I mean, to get their message out there, man, and then make their dreams come true. I just do whatever I can to help out that
quality, and it's fast. It's like you work like boom, 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 like rapper fast, boom, in and out, man. We ain't trying to be in the studio.
Exactly.
Knock it out.
And that's just from years of experience, man. It's like secondhand nature at this point. You know what I mean? Hooking up a studio, breaking it down, learning a new program. It all comes like second nature now. And it's fun, dude. That's the main thing. It's super fun, dude. You know what I mean? I'm happy with breaking even. You know what I mean? Sometimes I make a profit, but I'm happy with breaking even. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, man. And I think we're alike in this way as far as in our creative journeys. Like you said, it's fun. Somewhere you have ideas for where your passion is supposed to go. You know, like, oh, boom, this is supposed to happen. It's going to crack, and I'm going to make dollars. I'm going to be the next masterpiece. What they do, and then it kind of morphed into a way where you're like, wait, I'm having so much fun doing this. It starts to mean something. And I've told you this before. When it wasn't about dollars and cents, it's like you said, I'm just breaking even. I got my career over here, but it's like when you let it go free, it just morphs into something that you get so much enjoyment from.
Yeah, man. And my goal is, like I said, like you just said, my goal is not to get rich. My goal is to be able to do this. I have a day job, quote unquote day job. Of course, that pays for, majority of everything. That's my backup plan, you know what I mean? But my dream basically is to live off of just recording people, doing podcasts, doing stuff like that every day. Because it's fun, man. I have so much fun doing it. And on that note, man, I really appreciate it, man. Once again, Mr. B, y'all, we're going to ride out with one of his songs, another one of his songs. Enjoy it. And thanks again, dude. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Perfect, man. Thank you.
All
right. God bless.
Living life, watching daughter ride a bike. As I jump rope, no one in sight. Social distancing, what we're witnessing. Never thought I'd witness, still gotta handle business. God, I pray for family and those who lost it all in this insanity. Virus got me with face mask in public. People at supermarket think nothing of it, but staying at home got me spending time with my family I otherwise never known. Kids doing homework while I work from home, while I make most of the present time. Otherwise be outside of my mind. How to sin, where or when, don't know. Just ride the bull in life's rodeo. Like Morris Day, I know the time. Oh. Grateful at home to help wife more, live life more, still under siege like war.
Used to wash hands before dinner, now it's a chore 20 times a day, hands raw and sore. Cry me a river, could be worse. On respirator, fight not to be in a hearse. Now help others instead of putting self first. And take more time to watch my son grow into a teenager. I'm glad to know, I hope life is great to you. I'll always give, not take from you. Know when I act a fool is coming from a good place. Respect my authority, I'll respect your space. Like Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, you think parents don't understand. I do, used to be you, walking around like no stink in my boo-boo.
Don't forget to go to onethang.com for more podcasts.